Welcome! Welcome to the Saturday's Live, which is a spiritual practice. And today we're gonna practice in connection what I talked about yesterday. Yesterday we talked about you are not your emotions and what does that mean. And today we're gonna practice breathing into these emotions and basically how to deal with those emotions. So yesterday was more theoretical theory about this, and today is practice because yes, I mentioned it, breathing into emotions, but today I want to talk about it more, maybe show you how easy it is but how powerful. Okay, so if you really learn how to breathe into that energy of emotion, the energy in motion, and allow the flow of it, then you can unblock a lot that is stored in your body. You can allow it to come to the surface, breathe through that, and liberate yourself. That's where the relief comes. That's where we go from a feeling of uncomfortableness and a disbalance to a feeling of inner peace, harmony, the feeling that we want actually if we're anxious or depressed or stressed in any way, okay, or in pain, obviously, the feeling that we want, the feeling of relief, the feeling of basically peace or something, but usually we're not at. And so I will show you the easiest way how to achieve this, and definitely deeper or more often also you practice this, then the results can go deeper, and then you learn to practice it and you learn to do it consciously throughout your day, and then maybe even subconsciously, and then along the steps you are able to hold more of yourself. If you learn this practice, if you breathe into your emotions and you stop defining yourself by them, by your pain, by the energy that's here, that's in motion, that's supposed to be in motion, when we stop stopping it, when we stop defining ourselves in it, then we're allowing the flow, and the result is that we hold more of ourselves, and then we can hold more of some aspect in our lives. For example, peace. We can hold more peace of ourselves. We can hold more relief. We can hold more freedom. Because anything we're experiencing in the reality is the nervous system is just mirroring what it's capable of. And we want to practice to deepen these skills and to be able to hold more of ourselves, and then be able to hold more of things that scare us, which is, if you're experiencing chronic pain, then what scares you actually is relief, or not having chronic pain to hide behind it. If you have lack of something, money, abundance, friendship, etc., that's because you are scared to hold more of it, hold more of abundance, or hold just more of money or health even. Okay, so being in disease is afraid of being healthy, for example. So you can hold more of your health, you can hold more of healthy habits. Okay, because if we spiral subconsciously, we just let the mind control us and we let the body direct the way, and we're not directing the way by our essence, by our being, by our intuition. We learn to believe what's outside is true, but inside we need the healing to go from inside out. So from the emotions outside. Okay, so even though I speak about breathing basically every practice so far, plan to do different practices on Saturdays, but intuitively it keeps guiding me back to the breathing, that I should be talking here about breathing over and over again. Maybe it will be things you've already heard, and it doesn't matter, because we need to understand how important conscious breathing is, how much it can change in our lives, how breathing is related to our health, to the way we sleep, if we have bad dreams, or our overall well-being, our overall health. Breathing can help us with any labels that we label ourselves with. For example, chronic pain, anxiety, depression. Breathing can help us with money, or our money situation. Because if the nervous system is scared of the energy of money, then we can't hold more. If we breathe into this, into the whole topic, practice it daily, that's where the shift comes. That's where the change in our reality will come, because it all comes from inside us. What we're scared of is probably what we're protecting ourselves from, and we don't have it. Even if we consciously with our mind think we want it, and we can have it, and that we really want it, and we're doing everything for having it, then it will, if subconsciously there's a stored emotion, there's a stored layer of energy that's not in motion, okay? Stored emotions then can manifest into pain, and if they are there, then probably this is what's holding us back from what we want. And if we are achieving what we want but in an unhealthy way, then it's not what we want. We want to access the universal power of having everything easily. Whatever is hard for you to get, hard for you to earn in your life, it's because it doesn't come from the flow. It comes from a point of fear and power in the unhealthy way, in the injured and traumatized way, maybe scarred energy. And we can achieve a point where everything flows easily for us, but this is what we have to learn how to believe. We have to go and practice on a daily basis, so that then we approach these situations afterwards differently, and usually they will be with peace. So whatever triggers us again, activates us, gets us in that okay, when we stop breathing, there is something, there is an opportunity for you to heal something. So this is what we want to focus on, and by practicing in the calm state, like creating the space, you can practice every day, then you strengthen this ability of conscious breathing. And then in those situations when you're unconscious or it's harder for you, then you will automatically switch into this confidence, into breathing even in those stressful situations, or in those emotionally triggering or whenever the emotion arises. Okay, so with this I'm getting to the point of today's practice, and we want to visualize the emotions today. Will be different ways of how we can visualize them, and how we can understand they are here and we are not them. Because if we don't if we aren't aware that the emotions are just flowing through, there's something here, but we're not them, then we don't see the difference between us with emotions. We identify ourselves with them completely, okay? We define ourselves with our pain, for example. I am myself with the pain, but you need to understand that that is just energy that's in motion, coming up for some reason, and you are allowed to let it go. You are always allowed to come to the neutral state, to the being, to your true essence, which is just you, your pure energy. No negative or positive polarity. Okay? And especially if we build up something that is not ours, something that we don't even want, so it's like a combination of layers of energy that maybe isn't even ours. It's built up from what we heard, what we were told from society, from our parents, but we store it with fear. We store it in our body subconsciously. It's stored there because if the mind wasn't able to process it, it stores it and saves it for another time. And that is why then we build up these layers, and sometimes it can swoosh in and overwhelm us. So that's why if we say no to ourselves, every time it's gently reminding itself, those emotions are reminding themselves, and they want to be felt, they want to be let go, they want to be allowed to be in motion. Emotions want to be in motion. But if they're not, and if they have been stored, then they can manifest into pain or into outbursts. Okay, so there's a triggering situation, and my reaction will be overreaction, because I have gathered within myself a lot of energy that has been stored and wasn't allowed to be felt, wasn't allowed to be in motion. Therefore, we get into a situation like, that's the last point, that's the last drop of my patience, and then we outburst and explode. Because why? Because the energy needs to go, needs to flow. It will always balance itself out. So universe will provide you with that triggering situation. It will explode, and with the explosion comes relief. Even migraines are this form of an explosion. Migraine is when there have been too many layers of something we haven't been processing and allowing the flow of it, or we haven't been adjusting our boundaries in that topic. And when it's too much, it has to be released. It has to be relieved because the system, the nervous system, no longer can hold it. So there comes the migraine, the explosion, the relief. Because after migraine, it's a process, of course. So migraine is an uncomfortable process, and then comes the relief. After every migraine comes this relief, like, oof, you feel the relief. But what we are doing on a self-healing journey, in a spiritual practice, is we are implementing the relief into our days, into our daily life, into our moments, instead of having that outburst. So it's a prevention, let's say, but it's taking care of ourselves. It's a way of taking care of ourselves where I decide I'm gonna calm myself with the breathing. I'm gonna connect with myself, with my true essence, with my intuition, instead of leading to the point where universe provides me with that situation, and then I learn in pain. I learn through pain. And I realize those things in that pain. I realize those things in that explosive situations. Always when there's a triggering situation and someone says what they didn't mean, outbursts everything out, what they had inside them. That's the stored energy that comes flying out. But the problem is that we remember, and then we remember what we said, and then again we punish ourselves with what we said. Okay? So actually we take it back. If we punish ourselves with what we did or said, it's as if we were taking the energy back into us and storing it inside us. And then again, we're layering it up. But over time, I promise you, with these exercises, it just gets easier. So our goal is for you to have migraines less frequently, for you to have them less intense, or any pain. Okay, less frequent pain is a celebration. then we can celebrate because we see that progress. But it must be us who implements the changes in how we were. So especially if you think breathing and meditation practices and spiritual practices aren't for you, probably there is something in there that is for you. Especially if you think this way. If it activates you, that breathing isn't for me, but at the same time you are experiencing outbursts or emotional like lapses or migraines or any chronic pain or any sudden very strong presentation of your power, actually, okay, always it's your stored power, then there is something for you in the breathing practice, okay? So let's go into it by imagining different situations. So situation 1 is where emotion rises. Suddenly you feel it coming. It might be anger and it's building up, or it's sadness, and you feel, if you realize it and think about it, you know that it's not suddenly from moment to moment you're sad, or from moment to moment you're angry. It can seem that way, that triggering one situation made you angry, but you can feel, actually, if you break it down and feel into your body, you can feel that there was time before that it was arising because it's accumulating. Okay, you can imagine it as if it was coming through your whole body and it's just coming up somewhere. Maybe it's coming up to your head. Maybe it's coming up to this is like an emotional center, or to your shoulders, the tension, or the emotion, the energy. Okay, and remember, the emotion is energy and it's just coming up. But you need to start breathing into it and understanding that it is just energy. That's all it is. In that moment, when you feel it arising, you must notice it. You must be there for it. You must realize it. You can even visualize. You can visualize what color it has, what temperature. It can be boiling red anger. But we do this imagination just to help us, actually, not really separate ourselves from it, because it is our energy at the end of the day, but not to stop it, whatever it needs to do. And what it needs to do is very important in the breathing practice. It needs to flow through, it needs to be felt. So it needs your attention, but only in the sense of allowing it leave your body as fast as it came. And if we do this in a controlled environment within ourselves, we can always, this is what I was asked from my clients sometimes, is that, but if I'm in that situation and I'm in the middle of something with someone, for example, then how can I be there for myself, How can I allow it to pass? You can always step aside from that situation. Always. My favorite excuse in the beginning, when I was in those triggering situations, maybe I had a job as employee, then I used the bathroom. You can always excuse yourself and step aside. There's always a way. Be creative and find a way to step aside from that situation. So for me, it was in the beginning when I was learning this, because I really didn't have the space to experience this. And if you start opening yourself to it, it might be like triggering situation after triggering. After it calms down, obviously, okay? And you're at peace. But when you start maybe this practice, being aware of how the emotion arises, it might be even scary. Because it's like, whoa, it's here, it's all coming. But just be there for it. Yeah, it's coming. And this is all the power you have. This is all your power. If we were aware of how much power we have, we would be taking much larger leaps and bigger steps on our journey. But this is a way to realize these and then take those steps, because realizing how much power is within us, how much energy motivates us, and then when we see it in the neutral way that it is, it can motivate us to big steps in our business, in our quitting that job that doesn't suit us, the relationship, adjusting the boundaries very strongly. This helps us gain the strength, okay? So we imagine it arise, we always can step away from that situation, be creative, step away from it. And once you do, notice it and be there for it. But remember, you are not that energy. It's a part of you maybe, but you are not it. Okay, so it's arising, and you breathe, and you consciously breathe, and basically the more it comes, the more you breathe into it. The more it's coming, the more you're breathing to it consciously. For a moment, maybe, in the beginning, certainly, our attention maybe won't be that strong to be there all that time. So don't worry and come back, okay? Sometimes with pain, with intense pain, if you go into that pain, you will also see that it's not a constant line. It's a cycle. It comes in waves, okay? Even dull pain that at first it may seem like it's just one pressure, something pressuring maybe your head or your body, or weighing the weight on our shoulders, okay? But if you look closely, you need to start observing it and see it for what it is really. It's layers and it's cycles. It comes and goes. It's wave, okay? It has some kind of a pattern. So you look into it and breathe into it. And sometimes, especially if it's arising, flooding you, the more you breathe. And especially, okay, what happens then is it's building up. And if we start with the breathing, if we haven't done it a lot before, then it might even seem like it's gonna climax, it's gonna arise, it's gonna overwhelm us. But that's the point. You keep going, you keep breathing into it, and even it feels overwhelming and it feels like, no, I can't do this, I can't let it go into that height. I have to take a medication, or I have to take something. But what if you try the different approach, the opposite approach, and you even invite it in? You welcome it. And it's painful and it's horrible, and it can be horrible. Trust me, I know. But opposite to trying to escape it or trying to breathe into it but not succeeding because it's rising and it's getting stronger and you feel like you can't in that moment, you can, and you go opposite and you invite it in. You breathe into it and you invite it into your body, into your whole body. You expand it. You make it even larger. It will seem as if you want to make your pain even larger. But what happens with concentrated pain, it's very like a tough little concentration when you invite it, when you open it. When you open that ball of pain, that you localized it, very happy that you localized it somewhere in your body. Because even if it's a migraine, it's not on one it's not the whole head, for example. At first, again, it might seem that way. But if you observe it, and it's located there, or there, or there, or even in your neck, and on your shoulders, in your body, on your heart, or in your pelvis, somewhere. Okay, so you've located it, but you want it to leave, but what happens when you invite it? Relief comes. When you open it, when you invite it into your whole body, it no longer can be that strong and concentrated, because you welcome it, and then you remember it was always a part of you. It was always your energy, and it's pure. In its core, it's pure, and it didn't come here to harm you. Your emotions never came here to harm you. They came here to allow the flow. That's all they want. They want to be in motion. They want to move constantly. They want to renew your cells. They want to heal your body. They want your hair to grow longer. They want your mind to renew itself, create new neural paths, so that new things are possible to you. Because what you see affects you, and then you see what's possible for you. So that's why the energy needs to be in motion all the time. It needs to move. And once you open it and breathe into it, then you allow it to be here, and you step in that power. Because suddenly what was suppressed and what was in one place, what was maybe layers and what was in one section of your body, can then expand and be within your whole body. And any tension goes out and you breathe into it. Let's try it now. Welcome it. Breathe in through your nose. And allow it to be here. Allow it to fill you. Allow it to fill your whole being. Allow it to flow. And with that relief, with the exhale through your mouth comes all the relief. Everything can go out. So that you don't have to reach that climax where it explodes, because you control the balance. You are now in charge. You breathe in the trust that everything's here for you, even your emotions, what you feel, and you exhale the tension. And as this practice goes, it will go similarly in any occurrence, in any form of that emotion, the energy stored in your body. So this was an example when it arises, when suddenly a triggering situation that seems to be from the outside, but you have created it subconsciously, comes into your life, that comes into your reality, triggers you, and you react. But invite this. Forget who was present in that situation. It's never about them. And it's about you. Thank that person for activating this inside you. Step aside from that situation and allow it to show you what power is in that. How much power does this anger, this grief, this sadness, is even happiness and excitement, because excitement can get overwhelming sometimes. So how much it's bringing for you? Step aside and observe it and breathe into it and welcome it. Okay, this was like a triggering situation where something comes flooding in, but the same way approach it when it's stored in your body, for example. It's been there and continuously, chronically, it feels like it's always there. Okay? It's just always there. But you can, whenever we're ignoring it, doing other stuff, but it's there. It's somewhere there. It's in the body. It's stored. It's pain. It's a sensation, but it's energy that wants to be in motion. Because energy in a certain point located is not in motion, right? Because it's in there. But what you need to do with the energy to bring it back into emotion. Okay, because once it stagnates into pain and stores itself, it hasn't been processed. So it's there waiting for you to bring it into motion again. And we bring it into motion with breathing. It's the fastest, most sustainable, maybe the only way. So whenever there it is, that chronic pain, that stored energy, it needs to become emotion again. So that is why when we start breathing into pain, emotions open up. Because then it goes again into emotion, and then you need to follow the emotion and allow it to leave your body. Because every emotion arises, you experience it, you feel into it, and then it passes. It's never gonna stay here. Okay? So the same approach is whenever there's something stored, it's manifesting into chronic pain, it's all the same, it's energy. Just be aware that it will come with emotions, where we name them emotions, but it's still the same. It's changing the form. Okay, so you're breathing into that pain first, inviting it, opening it up, releasing all the tension, and at some point, or maybe not right away, it opens, releases those emotions, and you continue, because the emotion is a sign of it's working. It's changing its form from a manifestation of pain into emotion and relief. A relief is what we want to achieve. We want to come back to the harmonized state, to the balance, to our essence, which is being, and it's neutral. I think this was very powerful today. Replay it many times if you need. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching from the recording. And let me know if there's any questions. But this is a very powerful practice, and it's up to you if you implement it in your life. So have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you on Monday.